As he walked in, it was as if he knew what was coming. Right before the judge denied him bond, Lil Durk was trembling. His famous lawyer, who 50 Cent and fans believed would get him out of jail, argued for a $3 million bond. However, it was a harsh no from the judge and the rapper was sent back to protective custody. Prosecutors say that Lil Durk has a series of murders tied to his neck, leaving fans to wonder if Durk will ever be free. Lil Durk's $3 million bond denied. Lil Durk has been held in custody since his arrest back in October, and he will not be a free man anytime soon following recent developments in his legal battles. During a December 12, 2024, hearing in a federal courtroom in downtown Los Angeles, his attorneys got their first chance to attack the murder-for-hire charges brought against Lil Durk and also propose a motion for his release. Unfortunately for Durk, the request was denied by U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue after listening to arguments from both the prosecution and defense. Durk's legal team, which included lawyers Drew Findling and Jonathan Brayman, opened their arguments by describing the rapper as a gifted artist, businessman, and philanthropist with a wife, 8 children, close parents, and deep ties to his community. They then proceeded to offer a bail package that included $1 million in cash to be paid by the rapper's label, Sony Music, as well as $2.3 million equity on 2 properties. The bail package also proposed electronic monitoring of the rapper, around-the-clock security at a secure property, and the surrender of all electronic devices belonging to Durk. However, prosecutors fought any release, highlighting that the rapper is not only a flight risk but also a danger to the community. They cited how the rapper attempted to flee the country just before his arrest, while noting that their indictment contained enough evidence to warrant his continued detention. In a decision that came as no surprise to most people, the judge sided with the prosecution, stating in her ruling that based on all of the evidence, I find that there is no condition or combination of conditions that will reasonably assure the safety of the community. Judge Donahue continued, the allegations are not that the defendant personally pulled the trigger. The allegations are that the defendant exercises a significant amount of control over others. Durk was subsequently remanded back into federal custody. After the afternoon hearing, which had in attendance members of the rapper's family, including his wife, father, mother, brother, and more than a dozen of his supporters. Durk will now be spending the holiday season in jail as his next appearance in court has been set for January 7th, 2025, when his trial will commence. However, it is very likely that his trial date is postponed to a later date. Despite the unfavorable outcome of the hearing, Durk's legal team maintained their optimism while expressing a willingness to continue the fight. Shortly after the hearing, Brayman told Rolling Stone, he's resilient, he's strong, we'll get the discovery, and we'll continue the fight. Inside the courtroom, Brayman did a better job of describing his client's resilience when he gave the judge details about how Lil Durk battled through his troubled childhood before finding music as an escape and using it to take his family out of the hood. Brayman also said that his client denies giving orders to a group of men to find and kill rival rapper Quando Rondo, whose legal name is Taekwon Terrell Bowman. According to prosecutors, Durk put a bounty on Quando Rondo's head as revenge for the death of his childhood friend, rapper King Von. The indictment claimed that Durk paid for several men to travel from Chicago to Los Angeles, where they tracked Rondo for several hours before opening fire on him at a gas station near the Beverly Center Mall in August 2022. Rondo somehow survived the gunfire, but his cousin, Saviaya Robinson, also known as Lil Pab, was hit several times and died from his injuries. Furthermore, the indictment also alleged that Durk sought to commercialize the shooting by rapping about his revenge on Quando Rondo. The indictment references Babyface Ray and Lil Durk's 2022 song, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, saying it explicitly references audio from a news clip taken shortly after Robinson's murder, where Bowman screamed, "No, no," after seeing Robinson's dead body. When it was time for Durk's high-powered attorney, Drew Findling, to address the court, he criticized the government's decision to use Durk's lyrics as evidence, claiming it was a complete miscarriage of facts. Findling, who has represented several high-profile figures including NBA YoungBoy, President Donald Trump, and Cardi B, described the strategy as a smoking gun and argued that the song was recorded months before the shooting while backing up his claims with a sworn declaration from the song's producer. Findling said, that song was recorded approximately 8 months before that incident took place. We have all the timestamps from the producer. This took place not in August 2022 when the shooting took place. This music was produced, these lyrics performed by my client approximately 7 months before in January of 2022. Findling also debunked the FBI claims that Durk was trying to flee the country when he was arrested with luggage near a Miami airport back in October. This was coincidentally the same day law enforcement authorities began arresting his alleged co-conspirators in the murder-for-hire case. According to an affidavit previously written by an FBI agent, Durk had booked 2 separate one-way flights to Switzerland and Dubai on that day, but never got on any of them. He was later arrested while trying to board a private jet to Italy. However, Findling claimed that the mix-up came about as a result of Durk booking several flights, all in the aim of getting him to the United Arab Emirates, a destination which he regularly visited for work and religious purposes. Findling further explained that when his client realized that he could only get economy for the trip with multiple stops, he opted to book a private jet instead. Durk was set to make a stop in Italy, then immediately proceed to the UAE. Findling concluded by arguing that prosecutors had not been able to pinpoint anything that Durk did that warrants a criminal charge. Despite the strong arguments presented by Findling, the prosecution continued to argue against Durk's release, even on home confinement and electronic monitoring. While strongly opposing Durk's bond terms, Assistant U.S. Attorney Ian Ianniello painted a clear picture of the threat posed by Durk. He told the court, "As the allegations in this case make abundantly clear, Mr. Banks wasn't on the street pulling the trigger. He was the one who allegedly orchestrated the murder for hire. He was giving the green light to book the flights. As one of his associates was booking the flights for 5 co-conspirators to fly to Los Angeles to commit this murder, Mr. Banks sends a text message saying not to put his name on those flights." Meanwhile, the past week has also produced updates from the ongoing murder for hire case against one of the men arrested for allegedly plotting to kill Quando Rondo. The latest news arrived on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, after attorneys for Kayvon Grant, one of the 5 associates of Durk's Only the Family crew charged in the shocking case, filed a motion seeking protective order for their client. The motion cited fears that the release of sensitive materials during the case could expose witnesses to grave danger. These materials include statements from protected witnesses, crime scene photos, and autopsy reports. While granting the protective order on December 4th, Judge Michael Fitzgerald stated, "A protective order for the discovery is necessary so that the government can produce to the defense materials regarding protected witnesses who participated in the government's investigation, who may testify at trial, and/or whose safety may be endangered by disclosure of identifying information." Fitzgerald further emphasized that the protective order became a necessity because these materials could be used to identify the protected witnesses, which would expose them to intimidation and other safety risks. Following Judge Fitzgerald's response to the motion, the defense and prosecution agreed to censor all sensitive material and not allow anyone from outside the case have access to such information. As Lil Durk trial draws ever closer, fresh allegations have surfaced against Durk that may further complicate his fight for freedom. Lil Durk linked to 2022 killing. Newly unsealed court documents have linked Chicago rapper Lil Durk to the fatal 2022 shooting of an alleged gang leader outside a community center on Chicago's far south side. Although the warrant application was filed in April 2023 by FBI Special Agent Thomas Callahan, it was unsealed ahead of Durk's detention hearing for his murder for hire case. According to the newly unsealed filing, Durk was behind the January 27, 2022 fatal shooting of 24-year-old Stephen Mack. The alleged gang leader was ambushed by gunmen as he exited the Youth Peace Center of Roseland on West 111th Street. According to the FBI report, Mack was the leader of the Smashville faction of the Gangster Disciples at the time, and his death was in connection to the murder of Lil Durk's brother, Dante Banks, who was gunned down outside a nightclub in South Suburban Harvey in 2021. The newly unsealed documents revealed that the murder of Durk's brother was carried out by another Gangster Disciples faction with ties to Smashville. Just like in the case of King Von, the killing of Durk's brother set the rapper on a path for revenge, and Special Agent Callahan noted in his 2023 affidavit that Lil Durk was, and still is, offering money for people to kill those responsible for his brother's murder, and more specifically, offering to pay money for any gangster disciple that is killed. Although Durk has not been charged in the Chicago investigation, law enforcement sources confirm that the investigation into the murder is still open and active. Earlier this year, federal prosecutors in Chicago even charged 2 men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell, with conspiracy to murder in Mack's killing. In investigating suspects Montgomery Wilson and Powell's killing of Mack, FBI Special Agent Callahan tracked their connection to Durk by analyzing several materials, including social media postings, jail phone calls, firearm purchases, as well as lyrics from Lil Durk's song, Ah-Ha. The song was released about a month after the shooting and seemingly referenced the incident. Furthermore, Callahan alleged in his affidavit that Montgomery Wilson and Powell may have exchanged text messages concerning payment for Mac's murder. The discovery of this crucial piece of evidence came after Montgomery Wilson was arrested on an unrelated charge a few weeks after Mac was shot dead. The New Lenox Police Department detective in charge of the case then applied for and was granted a warrant to search the contents of his cell phone. Some of the chats on Montgomery Wilson's phone revealed a shocking connection to Lil Durk and his OTF crew. In one of the chats that took place on February 10th, 2022, one of the people in the text conversation asked, "What's up with OTF?" to which the other person responded, "Nothing." About 8 days later in the same conversation, another text message read, "Did Durk gave you that money?" Callahan goes on to write in his affidavit that when the user of the phone that was used as evidence wrote, "We waiting he comes up here on the 17th," the user was indicating that he was waiting for Lil Durk to come into town on February 17th to pay them for having murdered Mac. Callahan further established a connection between Durk and Montgomery Wilson by providing photos of the two of them together. More importantly, Callahan pointed to the lyrics of Durk's 2022 song, "Ah Ha," which he claimed can reasonably be interpreted to be a reference to Mac's murder. With these fresh set of allegations against Lil Durk, the rapper is quickly becoming one of the most notorious personalities in today's rap world. The rapper is no stranger to run-ins with the law and has racked up a pretty interesting criminal record that dates as far back as 2011 when he was arrested on a weapons charge. The rapper was sent to jail for 3 months for this particular incident. 2 years later, the backdoor rapper was arrested again and charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. This time around, Lil Durk pleaded guilty to the crime and was given a more lenient sentence of 18 months probation. However, that didn't deter Durk from committing more crimes. During the probation, Durk was allegedly caught by police with 2 guns, leading to another weapons-related charge. The charges were later dismissed after a judge ruled that Durk was not in possession and control of the guns, and so he didn't violate the terms of his probation. After this incident, Durk appeared to take a long break from his criminal behavior, but in 2019, he was back causing even more troubles. That year, Durk and his longtime friend, the late King Von, were hit with attempted murder among several other charges, stemming from a non-lethal shooting in Atlanta. Following a 3-year-long legal battle, the duo were cleared of any wrongdoing after the charges were dropped in October 2022. While addressing the decision to drop the charges, District Attorney Fannie T. Willis said, "The facts of this case have been reviewed, and although it appears that probable cause existed for the defendant's arrest, the decision of the district attorney at this time is not to prosecute." Meanwhile, Lil Durk's lawyer Manny Aurora celebrated the verdict by saying, "While it took 3 years for the state to make the right decision, in the end the right decision was made, and Mr. Banks can finally put this event behind him." Although Lil Durk didn't comment about the verdict at the time, there's no doubt that he would have been quite delighted to have the attempted murder charges dropped against him. But like we have come to know about the rapper, he always seems to find a way to get himself into bigger trouble than the last time. This is exactly what happened when the rapper was arrested in Florida on October 25th on charges related to a murder-for-hire plot that led to the death of rapper Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pav in August 2022. Durk's arrest came barely 24 hours after 5 members of Durk's hip-hop crew, OTF, were arrested in California in connection with the August 2022 fatal shooting. Among those detained in Durk's crew include Kevin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston. All 5 men have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and have been transferred to Los Angeles where their trial will take place. The murder-for-hire plot is said to be linked to the 2020 shooting that claimed the life of Lil Durk's longtime friend and collaborator King Von. The fatal shooting happened outside an Atlanta nightclub when King Von and his entourage crossed paths with Quando Rondo and his crew. According to law enforcement sources, King Von allegedly attacked Rondo, and this led to a heated confrontation that eventually escalated into a shootout. During the shootout, King Von was shot multiple times and later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Lil Tim, an associate and close friend of Quando Rondo, was quickly identified by the police as King Von's killer, and his arrest seemed like the perfect ending to the saga. However, a series of events quickly unfolded that sparked a fierce feud between Lil Durk and Quando Rondo, inadvertently setting the former on a crazy thirst for revenge. Lil Durk's bitter rivalry with Quando Rondo. There was once a time when all Lil Durk and Quando Rondo ever did was drop diss lyrics or dedicate an entire song to the beef between each other. Or better still, they spoke about each other during interviews, with Lil Durk categorically calling Quando Rondo a small boy who he used to grip by the neck.
Because Quando's a little boy.
Well, I mean, that's his artist.
I used to have him like this.
You mean Quando?
Saying 63rd, me and Vaughn.
Indeed, Quando Rondo and his crew outrightly dissed 63rd in a shared clip from his handle.
63rd, now we coming. know we on 64. We got most of this. Hey, we on 64 with this shit.
Why this mattered to Lil Durk was because Vaughn was associated with 63rd Street in Chicago's Parkway Gardens complex. However, Vaughn would later claim that it was a dirty area and that 64th was his hood. The exchange between Lil Durk and Quando Rondo continued after King Von's death, but little did fans know that it was more than bad blood between these two drill rappers, especially with the new details that have come to light. It appeared that all Lil Durk wanted to do was to get even or really slide for Von, as fans begged him to do after Von's untimely death. About the slide for Von, we'll get to that later on to see how fans might have had a hand in the crime that led to Lil Durk's arrest. While whatever Lil Durk felt towards Quando Rondo must have intensified after his friend King Von died, this intense hatred had a starting point, and it goes back to before the actual murder on that chilly night outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. NBA YoungBoy, founder of the Never Broke Again Records, took the then budding artist Quando Rondo under his wings in 2018. At the same time, Lil Durk welcomed King Von to his OTF Only the Family crew. Soon, King Von became acquainted with the rappers on the NBA label, including YoungBoy and Quando Rondo. In fact, Von and Quando Rondo were what could be mistaken as friends. Apart from that, words on the street was that King Von was way cool with NBA YoungBoy, whom he sort of idolized. He jammed to his songs during road trips in his car, and also danced to YoungBoy's music while with friends. There was also a time when Von called out YoungBoy for not releasing music via a tweet. It read, "The YoungBoy holding that shit to his chest, drop that." However, all of this was short-lived, and as they say, all good things must come to an end. These two had their friendliness crushed when Von dissed YoungBoy. Some fans believe that the OTF label mate went on Instagram Live to trample on YoungBoy's efforts while criticizing his lyrics.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
You talking crazy on this man.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his ass now.
On his
All that
ass.
cap. You got cap in your raps.
At first, this seemed like clout, but soon, YoungBoy and Von's online beef became hotter, with the pair charging at each other, talking about their personal lives, including their women. Rumor had it that Von stepped out with Johnnia, YoungBoy's baby mama, after a photo of their supposed date popped up online, and things went south from there. So how did this all relate to the Quando Rondo beef with Lil Durk? Well, it was a friend supporting another friend type of situation. YoungBoy's beef with Von extended to Durk, and he dropped diss tracks naming the OTF pair in his song at different times. Quando Rondo did the same thing, but took direct shots at Von instead. This wasn't taken lightly by the other team, who fired back with online subs and more diss tracks. As days turned into weeks and weeks, months, both camps tugged at each other but kept it strictly online. Soon the world witnessed the OTF allegedly aiming to serve it up to their enemy when both crews met at the Monaco Hookah Lounge on November 6, 2020. Footage of an altercation that happened in the area shows a group arguing before things get physical, and shortly after that, bullets start flying, killing 3 men on the spot, one of which was fans' favorite, 26-year-old King Von. Authorities revealed that 3 other men were wounded and taken to hospitals in private cars. Although King Von was rushed to the hospital, he gave in to his injuries during surgery. Following the murder, Quando Rondo's friend Lul Team, whose birth name is Timothy Leaks, was arrested and charged for pulling the trigger that ended Von's life. However, the suspect was allowed to post his $100,000 bond a few months after his time in jail. Lul Tim later claimed that Quando Rondo paid the money for him. Meanwhile, Lul Tim's bond came as a shock, since the nature of his crime made it impossible to post bond, but that did not stop him from being scheduled for a trial. And then the unexpected happened. The following year, Lul Tim was expected to face the court for his 1 count of murder charge. But on August 21, 2023, his lawyer Noah Pines stated that the case against him had been dismissed. Lul Tim later explained the reason behind the dismissal. In his song Left a Stain, the rapper confirmed that the charges were dropped not due to his innocence, but due to lack of evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to convict. While the OTF mourned their dead, back at Quando Rondo's camp, there was an unending celebration that made it out to the news via diss tracks, interviews, and posts online. Quando Rondo showed no remorse for what somebody in his camp did to Von. A few weeks later, he talked about Von in his song titled End of Story. Next, Quando Rondo goes off during a virtual live concert, where he referenced the deceased Von in a song rapping, "He got caught without that pole and now that bitch ass gone. I'll piss on his grave." As if that was not enough, Von's arch enemy went on about him in his feature with NBA YoungBoy. He goes, "My favorite op dead sister talk too much. No, I don't like the Lil Timmy rolled her brother up, got stepped on in some Nike kicks. Without relenting, Quando Rondo added salt to the injury when he highlighted Lil Team's role in Von's death in another interview. Rondo maintained that Lil Team is his brother who tried to die for him, adding that he would do the same for Lil Tim. Online, Quando Rondo went on about how he turned BFF with Lil Tim, his alleged savior, who saved him from death on the night that Von was murdered. In one of his posts, he referred to Lil Tim as his twin. More recently, Quando Rondo still threw a jab at Lil Durk when he released his Could Have Been Me song. In the track, which dropped in August 2024, Quando Rondo rapped, "Your homie got shot 5 times on a video." As for what was going on in the OTF's camp following Von's demise, it appeared that they had their eyes and ears on the ground as fans continued to fuel a revenge mission. Online, Von's loyalists began a Slide for Von campaign, calling for Lil Durk to avenge his friend who was brutally murdered. At first, it all seemed to fly over Lil Durk's head, and the rapper confirmed that all fans wanted was to get him in trouble with the Slide for Von movement. But during an interview with DJ Academics, the Chicago-born rapper claimed that he had blanked out on the Slide for Von comments, which he previously shared bothered him so much.
They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They be like, they be saying Slide for Von. I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, them songs is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more.
Following Lil Durk's arrest, fans unearthed the 2023 interview and pieced the puzzle together by maintaining that Lil Durk's attitude about the Slide for Von movement was because he had already taken care of the killer, or at least ordered a hit on Quando Rondo. Although Quando Rondo did not die, the 2022 shooting, which prosecutors now say was ordered by Lil Durk, claimed the life of his rival's cousin, Lil Pab. Back to Lil Durk's interview with DJ Academics, which just recently came to light, some fans thought he snitched on himself long before his arrest. Some of the comments read, "He was telling on himself every time he opened his mouth. For some reason, I don't see them no more." This is one of them situations where one would say, read between the lines. Given context of this video, it happened after the shooting of that nigga cousin. He making implications of he did in fact slide for Von. Keep his evil ass in prison then. This dude had it all but decided to fuck it all up just for some street cred. This dude, so naive. Durk can't stand Fed interrogation. He's not that hard guy, and I think the street put pressure on him to do that shit. I respect Durk for riding for his nigga and being loyal to the end. That's some real nigga shit, standing tall for what he believes in. While some people may claim they saw this coming all along, Durk's recent legal troubles have come as a shock to many of his fans who witnessed the rapper turn his back on gang life and embrace his Islamic faith. Just 2 months before his arrest, the rapper raved on about his newfound faith, not knowing the true fate that awaited him. At the time, Lil Durk convinced the world that he was a changed man who was now focused on being a true Muslim. In one of his posts, he quipped, "Don't label me nothing outside of a man, a father, and a 1000% Muslim." Before fans had the time to second guess, Lil Durk explained the change via his Instagram story. He shared, "I don't gangbang, I'm a Muslim." Basically what I was saying on my post in so many words, you can't do both, I'ma be the one who say it. So if you follow me as a brother, a friend, an icon, follow me to my new chapter of life, he added. When I make music or rap what I've seen and been through, not telling you to go do it, huge difference, the music won't change, but my life goals will. Truly, Lil Durk's rebranding was spotted by everyone, including those from the Broadview Village in Chicago. Lil Durk's NGO, Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, had shown immense support for Broadview and Bellwood young scholars, so the community decided to solidify the ties by handing him the key to the city. However, about a week after, the town's mayor, Katrina Thompson, revoked the partnership and withdrew the key from Lil Durk. Via a statement, she claimed, "While the American system of justice grants everyone the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law, in the village of Broadview, the court of public opinion of residents has even higher moral and ethical standards of behavior. If found guilty, losing partnership with his city would be the least of his worries." Lil Durk, who was denied bond on December 12th, is now at risk of facing the maximum sentence in a federal charge, which is life behind bars. Literally. If you enjoyed this video and would love to see more of such content on your screen, click on the cards showing on the screen.